Today it's going to be Amuse versus DistroKid. We are going to compare a few key features and ultimately it comes down to you which one you prefer. So let's start off with the plans. DistroKid has 3 plans which are billed annually. So it's either the Musician plan at $22.99, the Musician Plus plan at $39.99, and lastly, the Ultimate plan at $89.99. So obviously, as DistroKid points out, the Musician Plus is their most popular plan, as Musician is just far too limited and Ultimate is geared more towards record labels or people distributing for multiple artists. The Musician Plus plan fits perfectly in the center of that. You get unlimited distribution, royalty splits. On the Musician Plus plan, you can have 2 artists, which is awesome. Custom release dates, honestly, the actual meaningful stuff that will boost your music on this page. And for those of you who are regulars on this channel, you'll know it's because it's on its own separate page, because it's got its own separate charges. Amuse has 2 plans, Boost at $19.99 and Pro at $59.99, and both of those are also annually. So Boost is actually pretty decent, especially compared to DistroKid's Musician plan, which is actually more expensive. The difference between Boost and Pro is Pro has faster release times, generally from 2 to 10 days, quicker support times. Amuse won't take a cut from Pro members' YouTube Content ID revenue, and Pro also supports multiple artists like the Musician plan, but the Pro plan is of course more expensive. So now we can cycle back to DistroKid's extra features and we can sort of use these to compare features between the two as well. So DistroKid treats features like video game DLC, and the first piece of DLC we have is the Discovery Pack, which distributes your song to the likes of Shazam, iPhone Siri, ACR Cloud, Juxta, Grace Note. This costs you an extra 99 cents per record. Okay, now almost everybody distributes to Shazam in their base price. However, I haven't seen any mention of a lot of these stores with the exception of Shazam on Amuse. So DistroKid distributes to a lot more stores than Amuse. And then if you add this Discovery Pack to it, it's even more stores. But keeping it with the digital stores, DistroKid has a feature called Store Maximizer, which costs $7.95 per release per year. So if it's a single or an album, it's going to cost the same price. This guarantees that if a new store opens and DistroKid has access to it, they will make sure the release is also put on that new platform. It's my understanding that Amuse covers this, as they say that they are always adding new stores. I could be incorrect in this assumption. The social media pack is our next stop, so at either $4.95 per single per year or $14.95 per album per year, you can get access to YouTube and TikTok Content ID. Also, DistroKid wants a huge 20% chunk of that revenue. This right here is egregious. Amuse does not charge extra for Content ID. So usually I leave my disdain for the, the Leave a Legacy pack. But the more I mention this pack in videos, I start to realize that the social media pack is absolutely terrible. DistroKid is saying, we're going to charge you every single year for every single or album you add to Content ID. And then when you make a profit off of Content ID, we also want 20% of that. That's crazy. But hey, to each their own. Next stop is Pretty simple. Cover songs. Amuse cover songs, they're free of charge. DistroKid, they are $12 per year. Then we circle back to Leave a Legacy. If you've watched this channel long enough, you know how much I just dislike this feature. If for some reason you miss a payment, in order for DistroKid to not completely wipe your catalog from musical existence, you have to pay them. And I kid you not, it's $29 per single and $49 per album, although for once it is once off. Amuse will shift you over to a free plan until you settle payment, meaning you won't be able to upload new music, but you also won't have your music Thanosed. And yes, I'm making that a verb. The list of features goes on with things like social phones, Dolby Atmos support, which by the way Amuse doesn't have. So in conclusion, Amuse is cheaper than DistroKid by a country mile. Though at this point, everybody is cheaper than DistroKid. However, DistroKid has more features and more stores at its disposal. For instance, good luck distributing music videos on Amuse. However, with DistroVid by DistroKid, you can upload your music videos to the most popular platforms, and that includes Vivo. This will cost you an additional $99 a year. So just a few things to consider. I'm just leaving it out there in the air when dealing with both of these distributors in terms of pros and cons. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you found any of this information helpful, don't forget to hit like and consider subscribing. And while you're at it, have an amazing night.